it's Rachel Haskins with That Dilly Crazy, and today I have another special guest.
Nathan Haskins.
And this is Nathan Haskins, Mr. Nathan Haskins. And you guys know I always say that if I know the guest, I'll address them as the person as I know them. And this is my brother. He's my only, it's only two of us, so it's me and it's him. I'm the oldest and he is the youngest. But my brother is one of my best friends in this life. I was truly blessed to have a brother like him. I always say that if anybody knows me and knows even like my thoughts, it is my brother. I always one thing about him is we grew up in the same household, and even though we grew up in the same household, we may have different perspectives on how things went. But one thing that our parents always taught us is to be close in nature, and so we're very close in nature. One of my friends always says, if you have something that you can't tell at least one other person, then you done did too much. And so my brother is my one other person and my best friend, which I also, say that's my sister. But I thank God because there are sometimes siblings that, they're not close like we are in nature. And not only is Nathan, one of my best friends, but he's one of my biggest supporters and he uplifts me. And that's how he became, how our friendship started, other than in our childhood. But I just have so much respect for my brother and his character and who he is because he's just so open minded. He's been in positions of leadership, and I think it was a very serving place for him because he is so open minded. He does give, I always say that we give people a lot of grace. He gives people a lot of grace. One thing about it is he's always going to question himself and say, am I looking at this from the whole perspective? And so I respect that in him, and that being the type of person he is. And also being the type of person he is, I don't like messy people. And so one thing about my brother I love about him, he's one of those family members, whatever you say to him is with him. He doesn't go back and forth and keep up mess within the family. If we play a lot. So if we gonna bring something up, we gonna bring it up in front of everybody. It ain't like behind somebody's back or something like that. But just even who his character is, when nobody's around, he is a person who believes in bringing things together and getting along. And so that's who he is through and through. And so just a person that I can respect and his morals and his standards and just the type of man he is. And I'll let him tell you a little bit more about himself.
Hello, everybody. I am Nathan. I am from Louisville, Kentucky, but you already probably know that if you know my sister. I live in Dallas, Texas now. Um, and so, one unique experience I had recently was I was laid off in, I think, 2024, like August of 2024. And the Lord blessed me and took care of me until I found a new job in July of this year of 20, well, last year, 2025. So I was able to do some cool things. Like I went back and got my real estate license and just kind of enjoyed life. Met a lot of cool people, made some good connections and networks and different things like that. So
Absolutely. And I'm glad that he shared that because I'm one of those people. I always say that, like, sometimes when you come to a sudden end like that, or an end, or where you're switching to something new, it can cause a lot of people to go into stress. And I know that I got used to that because as a travel nurse, our contracts always ended. And so we were always looking for someone new, somewhere new. So I kind of had a little bit of history of how to, like, how to deal with that, how to cope with that. And so I always encourage people when you come to the crossroads, the first thing I want you to do is rest. Rest and get yourself together and allow yourself to be open to new concepts and do that. My brother, he is a very intelligent person. He's very brilliant. He's good at, you know, creating business processes like as far as electronics to go and different things like that. But he's really good at that. And he's good at, people love to talk to him, and whatever he gets into, he learns about it, as much as he can. And so I knew he would be a great salesman. So when he decided to go into real estate, I was like, this is perfect for you, someone who's interested in socializing and property. But y'all know how I do. I'm gonna get straight into the questions. Growing up together, We grew up as Kojic kids. Anybody that doesn't know what Kojic stands for, that's Church of God in Christ, and it is a Pentecostal um, denomination in the Church of God in Christ, with our parents serving in high leadership roles. How do you think that upbringing shaped your character, discipline, and the way you lead today?
One of my favorite things about the way that we grew up is just learning how to get to know God and build a relationship with God. And that's been the most important thing for me. Just learning how to pray and how to worship God has been something that's been very important in my life. Not saying that I always get it right or even most of the time get it right. I definitely make plenty of mistakes, but just having a relationship with God for myself has been so imperative in my life.
Absolutely. I can agree with that. I always say that, I didn't really build a relationship until later on in my childhood. Now there was a introduction to Christ in my childhood, because you guys know that I was at church 24/7. And so that was the best introduction that my parents could have gave to me, because I was going to need him in every step and in every level of my life. And both of us, pretty much had that same introduction. Our dad would go over our Sunday school lessons with us at night, make it very animated and different stuff like that. And so without both our parents being in leadership roles, I think we pretty much learned. I learned how to I don't know, deal with different types of people, and just having that what can do attitude and what makes it work. I always say that if you want to bring people together, you bring people together by focusing on the similarities, not so much the differences. And so with my parents being in leadership, that was one of the things that I had to watch them do, is bring people together to, accomplish one common goal, and whatever that may have been. And so I think that was one of the things that we learned. Nathan's being shy on the camera a little bit now, but he's a great leader when it comes to like bringing people together. He's an excellent host. And I don't know, like I don't have those skill sets as much as he does. Like if you ask me for something, I'm gonna do my best to get you whatever it is you ask for. But when I tell you, he just like he has more of my mother is a wonderful host. And so I think, I don't know for sure, but I would say that's maybe one characteristic that he may have gotten for her. Would you think that?
Sure, like I love people and I've been known to be hospitable.
Very
So
much so. Okay. So let's go to the next question. Faith and identity. Faith has always been a foundation in our family. How has your relationship with God evolved from childhood to adulthood, especially as you've navigated leadership roles and life outside of home in Dallas?
that's a challenging question. I mean, if you're in a relationship with God, like He's there for every step of the way. Like, so He's there on your good days, your bad days, your peaks and your valleys. So, as much as I have evolved my relationship with Christ, I believe what will have evolved as well. I love God and God loves me, and I love the church, and I go to church and I try to be active in church. And so my relationship with God has just evolved as much as I've been in different industries. I've been in different stages of my life, and He's been with me in a backslidden stage and a doing my best stage. And I believe we're all doing our best, but I like to be doing my best more often.
I know.
But so um, one thing that is really pivotal is just like I've learned to love God um, as a father and me being a son. And we've been in a relationship together, and sometimes I'm corrected, and sometimes like the relationship is turbulent because of my actions or deeds.
Absolutely.
Nevertheless, God is faithful and kind in the way that He deals with me. And so God's really gotten me through some dark stages in life too, and through transition in life. Like I moved to Dallas, I didn't really know anyone or have like a huge plan or anything, but God has been with me and has helped me figure it out as I've gone, and He's He's been blessing me. So I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. I'm always so proud of him for like moving out of state and just, because it takes a lot of initiative to do that, to go into an area where you don't know anyone and just be like, I feel like this is a good area in which I can thrive in. And so I love it. And I've always, I went to visit him in the different areas that he lives in. And he always, like I said, he's a wonderful host, but we have such a good time. And I love seeing him thrive in those areas. And I try to, it's not that times are not hard, because I always say, anytime you're traveling uphill, it's going to be difficult. And when you ain't doing nothing, that's when it's going to be hard. And it's not that you're not going to run into different things, and some things that some burdens you may cause yourself. But listen, that we're all learning and growing as we go. And so anytime you're going into new territory, you understand that it's going to be a little difficult, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to capture new territory, to discover new territories, to go and build in different areas. Because why not? Because, especially with him, his sister loves to come. I always say that I love so many different places, honey. I want to know all the, I've got big expectations for God, and I have big intentions on my part. Like I always say, I want a home in several different places, and different cities. And so, I definitely know that that means going to different territories. And that is one of the things that I used to love to pick up with travel nursing, is like being in an area and be like, okay, can I see myself here? Can I see myself with my family here, or whatever else? And so it's so nice to be able to go and visit my brother who is already there and can show me a lot of the amenities of the city, that I like and love. And he knows I like luxury. And so he always takes me to the nicest places and different things like that. And I appreciate that. I would also say that, like, as far as like how faith has shaped my identity with Christ, like he said, just learning. The best lesson I can learn is, yes, I love God, but the best lesson I've learned, and one I always want to tell y'all, is how much God loves you. Because God is faithful, whether I'm faithful or not. They'll say I can be doing my best, and sometimes I still fall short. But one thing about it, two things for sure, I know that God never leaves me. I can only leave Him, which I ain't doing. And so as soon as I ask for forgiveness, we back in good standing. Not only does God not hold it against me, but he throws it in the sea of forgetfulness, and he loves me for the person that I am and that I'm growing to be. And so, like he said, like just knowing how much God loves me and how much he feels like I'm worthy, that I'm not earning his love. I'm not, because some people are performative. And I always say, like, the people that I choose to have in my life, I choose to love them. I don't, yeah, and I got that from my brother. Like, there's some people in your life, it's not that they're always going to do everything right or do everything the way that you feel like they should do it. But I've made a choice, and I've decided that you are somebody that I'm going to love unconditionally. And so I do that with my family, and God does that with us. And I say, even with my children, that's a good way, because no matter what my children do, I love them, and all of them. I always want them to know that they can come to me about anything, and you still good with me. You hear me? And so that's how I am about my family and my friends and my loved ones, or anybody that I care about. You still good with me. And that's what it is about God, because I do believe that's how God loves us. No matter what, we ask for forgiveness, we get it straight, but you still good with him. And so just knowing how much God loves me, and there's absolutely nothing I can do to turn him against me. And it just makes it easier to grow, for me to grow in my faith, because it gives me the room to, one, when I do make mistakes, to be easy about, okay, I should have maybe did this differently. And so, it's much easier to move on when you can forgive yourself easier. And why would you not be able to forgive yourself when you know that you have a God that is forgiving? And so if God is forgiving you, then who are you to hold on to it? That's what I always tell people. And so it just made life so much easier. It took away so much anxiety, and just helped me focus on what really mattered, which is love, loving myself, loving God, loving the people in my life, and loving the things that I do and what I'm pouring my time and intentions into. So I'm going to go on to the next question. As my only brother and someone I'm extremely close to, how do you think our relationship growing up, our conversations, disagreements, laughter, and support helped shape the man you are today?
One of the cool things I think about family is it really gives you an opportunity to learn how to love unconditionally. So, like, you learn how to have disagreements without being disagreeable, and there's nothing but pure love there. We may not always agree, we may not always want to do the same things, but like after a disagreement, like we still love each other. We're still there for each other, and I still want the best for each one of my family members. And I think family is a cool opportunity to have that opportunity to learn how to love. So I like to take that same practice and give it to the people that I love outside of my family.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Family is a good way to learn unconditional love because at the end of the day, if, like I always say, it is a choice. You are choosing to love these people. Yeah, you could get offended and be like, well, I can't get over this. Or you can be like, okay, they're human. They made a mistake. This person, I know this is not all that they represent, and move on. And you do learn that, especially among siblings, because even though your siblings are some of the first people that you learn how to have disagreements with. And what I do appreciate about my parents is that when we had disagreements as children, they never allowed us to talk to each other all crazy. Like, there still had to be a certain amount of respect that was had, and stuff, kids are gonna be kids and they gonna say what they're gonna say, but we always knew not to take it too far. And to be, like he said, like my brother said, to be agreeable. So sometimes it's just we gonna have to be cool with not agreeing because I'm very opinionated, he's very opinionated, and when I'm stuck on what I'm stuck on, he's stuck on what he's stuck on, then we might not come to a conclusion. But at the end of the day, it's all love. And that's my brother, and it's always gonna be my brother. And so, and same vice versa. I'm his sister, and I'm always gonna be his sister. So at the end of the day, it's love, and we're always gonna choose love over anything, and any disagreement or anything else. Family and memories. We've shared so many trips, family moments, and milestones together. Is there a particular family memory or trip that stands out to you that reminds you of the importance of family and staying grounded?
So I won't say just like one, but I am like I love the holiday traditions that we have where we come together for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm usually back in Kentucky at least every Christmas if I can be. Um, and most Thanksgivings I've rarely missed, but just having that quality time. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays because you just come together, have some good food, and just chill out. But yes, Thanksgiving and Christmas are my favorite. Like all of them, not just one of them.
Okay. Um, let's see. I think one of my first family trips is, we haven't had that many family trips as at like when me and my kids and my brother have went on. And so one of my favorite family trips that my brother went on was when we went to Orlando, and that was one of my favorite trips because he was there too. And I think my dad there too that time, or was it just you? It might
It
have
was
been just,
just me.
it was just him that time, because normally my dad or my dad or somebody else would go with me. And so normally it was always my dad, but this time my brother decided to go, and he was worried, but he ended up having a really good time. Um, and the kids like him being there. And so I always like, as a mother, you have these key moments that you try to create for your children, like having those big family moments, and yes, Christmas is this and Christmas that, but my family is so spread. Like, with my son, he has another side of the family that, sometimes I have to be, and I want him to always experience and enjoy all of his side of the family because that's a blessing. But sometimes I have to be very intentional on creating special moments with just us because, my kids do that. We all, even me, we have to move around and do a lot of different things. But that was one of my favorite trips. Just seeing how easy and laid back he was because, being around kids 24/7 can be a lot because my kids was smaller and they was, laughing, playing and loud. And he was just there enjoying the moment. And it was just, y'all know how Orlando is anyway. It's kind of magical. And so it was like a magical family moment for me. And I hope to have many of those moments in many different states and many different countries to come. And I know that God is going to allow that to happen. That is what sticks out to me because I always say that God's created this beautiful world. I know that He wants us to see it. And so I always want to share those type of experiences with my family and friends. Leadership, real estate, and purpose. You stepped into leadership and real estate with intention. How do faith, family values, and our upbringing influence the way you lead, serve others, and operate in business today?
Well, for leadership, like I love people, and I think the more that I'm in leadership roles, that I learn that it's more about literally serving people, which like I've learned to love, and I always want to be in a leadership role to have some kind of influence to make things better for like yes, both our customers and those doing the work. Because I've definitely been in a position where I was one doing more hands-on work prior to getting into leadership. So I always wanted to look out for everybody. And my faith, I think, empowers me to do that. Real estate, like, so I got into real estate, and I'll be vulnerable and honest. Like, it's been a little slow for me. So, no, I'm not ready to give any nuggets of advice for that quite yet. But if you know anybody in the Dallas area looking for a realtor, please let them know my name and how to find me. You can find me on Facebook. Um, and she'll have me tagged in this video, I'm sure. So,
Absolutely.
but leadership, real estate, and purpose. Really, just knowing that I'm on the heart and mind of God, and He has good plans for me, and I think that that's so amazing that like I would be on the Creator's mind, that He would love me, and I definitely also I want to just plug in my church here. I go to the Potter's House in Dallas, and that was one of the primary reasons I wanted to relocate to Dallas because I wanted to be closer to my church. And at the time, I had the flexibility with my work as well because I was working remotely, so I could live anywhere. So I moved to go to the Potter's House, and it's really been a blessing on my life. Like it's always keeping me like focused and keeping me encouraged in the Lord. And like, there's so many incredible people there that keep me inspired. And I love the impact that we have on our community through my church. I've been able to like serve in ways that I would have never been able to do like individually, whether it's with the unhoused community or food pantries, things like that. Like my church has given me an opportunity to volunteer in those communities, and I've also done some volunteer work with my jobs. And so I think that it's all like tied together. And like, I just want to be clear, like I'm doing the best that I can every day. I have plenty of room for opportunity that I'm addressing as best I can with the help of God and my family and my peers. But one of the most important things that ties in leadership and everything that I do with my purpose and God is just like I just want to be pleasing in God's sight, and definitely want to make my family proud of me, and they keep me encouraged, and whenever I need to talk to them, I can. And they always encourage me about work too. Like my sister is very strength oriented, and she would just get the job done. And like it gives me a new perspective on ways to address problems and issues, and it's really made me a better person just to be more direct and clear and concise with what I'm wanting and what I need done, and also just seeking just to get a good understanding. So I've learned definitely from my sister here a lot.
Thanks, Nady.
You're welcome. And leadership, all of my family has been in leadership. My parents pretty much all of my life, so I've been able to learn and glean as much as I can from them. And then I've just been blessed to have great examples of leaders in my life that I do my best to learn from and emulate the best of them when I can. And also just be authentic to myself and what God has given me and purposed me with, which I am ever pursuing to find out my reason and my purpose, and to establish it and to walk in it with integrity. And I'm growing every day and every year so I can do that.
Absolutely. That was beautiful hearing you say all of that. And I think it's what I love about my brother is his humility, and it's really true for all of us. We all just doing the best that we can. You know what I'm saying? I am honestly a person that's doing. I will tell you any day I'm doing the best I can, and that can look different on each day. But I think like he said, just knowing that no matter what, I'm not leaving God and God's not leaving me is what gives me strength each day to, still get up and try something else and try to get it right and, keep going forward. And having my family and friends and having people that are in positions of leadership. Like my brother, he was in a position of leadership before I was, and so I could bounce ideas off of him and see like how he dealt with things. And we do deal with things rather differently at different times. I am very direct, and I'm like, this is what I can do. And I'll say it in such a sweet way because I always say we lead with a can do attitude, but outside of what I told you I can do, I can't do nothing else other than that. You know what I'm saying? So so that's how I kind of do things because I said, in my leadership training, one of the things they told us, if you want to have a positive attitude, tell people what they need to hear. Like, for instance, if somebody's asking to meet with you, maybe Thursday or a Friday, and you can't meet those days. Well, so you can let them know that you're trying to get along. Tell them what you can do because that's the thing. We're trying to get to an even day. Well, I'm available Monday or Tuesday at this time. So, I'm very like that when it comes to things. And even if I have to be a little bit more direct than that, I'm able to do that. But I sometimes I feel like should I be shy away a little bit more, but what I love about my brother is he supports me in being like that dominant personality when I need to be, and he always lets me know that not only am I enough, I'm more than enough. He's one of those people that always make if my head is getting a little where I'm trying to bow, he always head up, shoulders up. You can't do nothing about it, and you need those type of people. One thing my daddy always says is like, there's no reason to look back because you can't go back and change what's behind you, no way. And so once you understand that, then the only way that you should be looking is forward. And so I love having my brother around who constantly reminds me of that, because you're gonna do things and parenting in your life and you be like, well, did I do the right thing here? And even if you get a second to, and stuff is constantly coming at you, that if you get a second to even think about it, you can't do nothing about it. And ain't no, like one time I was telling him about something, he was like, well, what good with feeling guilty or feeling bad do? And I was like, you right, friend. And so, like, just how God puts the people around you that you need around you to make it through this life. And I thank God that He gave me a brother that, is not my enemy. Because as we know, there were brothers, and the first murder in the Bible happened between siblings, two brothers, Cain and Abel. And so, but instead of that, I got a brother who is my friend. I got a brother who is my uplifter. And I know that that's a blessing within one, because it's only two of us. If we didn't get along, I wouldn't have nobody. But I thank God for what he's given me and my brother. I thank God for him each and every day. I thank God for his humility. And because of that, he's easy to talk to. And he understands me. Like, he never judges me. He always, takes it for what it is, loves me. Like, he's the perfect example of unconditional love and showing me how to love. And so that I'm able to, not only give that back to him, but everybody else, which I do. And, I just thank God for all that he's doing in my brother's life. I am so excited for all the things that are coming. Like he said, he just got into real estate. He's new to Dallas. So if y'all know somebody that's looking for a home, guess what? I have a realtor here for you. Tell them about my brother. I got too many guests on here. I know y'all be in Dallas. I know y'all know people in Dallas. Send them my brother's name. Not only that, he's a wonderful host. So he's definitely somebody you want to be in contact with if you're in the Dallas area. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for coming and being on the show. He's tired. He's been serving. His love language is acts of service. So he was tired and he came on today. He did my father's feet today. And he's always doing stuff around the house when he comes in town. So I do thank him for coming, because he's leaving in the morning and being on my show. I was like, you gotta come. And he did it just for me. So I love you. In this world, I always say, we used to watch this show together, and it would be like, always and forever, this world and the next. So I always say that to my brother. Always and forever, in this world and the next.
Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye, y'all.